So now, how do you get your articles? Did your marks matter? But the village wants to know how much are you getting paid for your articles? Did you have a car?
I didn't have a car. I didn't have Afrikaans again. I just had my English.
Is it worth it, the LLB, in 2024 or in 2023? Hey guys, welcome to the village. My name is Boni. I create content around careers, education with a dose of reality check. A warm welcome to our village if it's your first time here. But if you are a returning villager, thank you so much for your support over the year. Actually, yes, our village has recently turned 1 on the 3rd of October. Today, I have Yolanda Miengeza from Miengeza Attorneys. It's a law firm based in Randburg, Johannesburg, Gauteng, South Africa. Okay, so we are going to be speaking to her. She is going to be spilling the beans. You know, we've been seeing this all over the social media platforms that it's so hard to become or to be admitted as an attorney in South Africa. The biggest stumbling block being getting those articles and just affording to do those articles. So that's what our conversation is going to revolve around. I don't know what are we going to call this segment. I think maybe we can call it Tea with the Villagers, something like that. Please let us know what we should call this segment, where we're going to be bringing professionals to talk about different challenges that young people or graduates or even young professionals are facing within their industries. Please give us a name. What should we call this segment? But in the meantime, let me bring Yolanda. Welcome, Yolanda. Welcome to our village. I hope you are going to give us something really good today. We are hungry for this knowledge. How are you, Yolanda?
I'm well, thank you. How are you, Bonnie? And thank you for having me. Hopefully, I'll share more insightful information.
Please greet our village. I'm not by myself. We are the village here on YouTube, so you need to greet us. You must acknowledge the village.
Well, good morning to all of the villagers. Thank you for having me. I hope the information I'm bringing is going to help you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Yolanda, please tell us a little bit about your academic journey.
Okay, so let's start it from high school. You can say that I was I didn't struggle much in high school. I was a good student. Yeah, I didn't struggle at all. I knew exactly what I wanted. So I really worked hard in high school. So I wasn't those that didn't work hard and just passed. So I did everything by the book. And then eventually I passed my matric in 2010. Then 2011, I didn't have acceptance from the universities I had applied to. So then I headed to the University of the Western Cape, decided to apply for law. Exactly, in Jan. So I was like, you know what, maybe I should do law. Then I applied for law. I got into the university. Unfortunately, because I had applied in Jan, they only offered me space in the 5-year program. So I was like, you know what, because I don't want to sit at home, I'm going to take this up. So I literally went to UWC. I studied, I think in 2013, I had my son. So that then shifted everything. It actually disrupted my whole academic, situation. So I decided, before the end of 2014, I need to drop out to take care of this child and then come back. So the rest of 2015. Yes, that was.
Which yes. You were doing, I think I didn't get which year you were in. Was it 3rd or 2nd year?
What was it? 2014 when I decided to drop out. Remember, I started 2011, 12, 13, 14. So it was meant to be the 4th year. Remember, I was in the 5-year program. So yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
that was the 4th year. I was like, I am not coping. Let me just
Okay.
sit it out. I'll come
So
back.
was the,
Yeah,
so was
so
the child
uh
was the child back at home?
he was at home. He was living with me. I was living at home throughout. I never moved out. So my mother was at home, but still, it affected me because I went back home every day. So he was there. So when I get there, he wants to be with me and he's my responsibility. So I was like, I'm not
Mm.
coping here. So I decided to
Okay,
drop
hold
out.
on. Hold on. I'm a bit confused.
Yeah.
This was not part of the plan. I'm a bit confused. I didn't have this information before. Okay. So now, you went to the University of the Western Cape, right?
Yes.
Where is home? So were you staying in the Western Cape? So that's where, like, that's what I'm a bit confused about.
Okay. My introduction was not really good. Okay. So I was born and bred in Pal. So that's where home is. Pal is in the Western Cape. So
Oh,
UWC is like, yeah, so UWC is like maybe you could say 1.5 hour if you're traveling by train. That time we were using trains and taxis. So it would take you like roughly 1.5 hour to get to school. So I
okay.
had to do that travel. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you were staying at home. Did you initially want to go to UCT?
Who doesn't want to go to UCT? But I had applied for something different at UCT and they wanted me to do something totally different. I remember I got funding for that thing that they were recommending for me. I was like, but this is not what I want. I asked and applied for this one thing, but they didn't take me. So I was so
Okay.
disappointed by that. Yeah.
Okay, I see you said you didn't really want to do law, but it's something that you thought of after matric. But initially, what did you want to do? As you were working hard in like your school years, what did you want to do? And what is that thing that AUCT were giving you?
So me, I had an interest of doing financial information systems. I heard
Okay.
about this career and it looked like it was a good, career. So I did some research in it at the time. I was like, this is what I want to do. Now, I applied to UCT. I don't remember the second option, but I had gone to UCT because that thing where they send you to UCT, there was some sort of program where they choose
Mm-hmm.
students at school. Then we went there and then they called us in. So they
Okay.
wanted me to actually do chemical engineering. And by that time, I was so disinterested in science. I was doing science,
Okay.
but I got into a point where I was like, I don't want a career in science. It's not for me. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank God you didn't do chemical engineering. Okay. So now
Yes.
you are in your 4th year. Chemical engineering is catching strays.
No.
We are in your fourth
Yeah.
year, you fall pregnant, you have your son, and then now you decide to drop out. And then what happens after that?
So the whole of 2015, I'm sitting at home. And then 2016, I decide in Jan, you know what, I'm going back to school. This is not it. I did
Mm.
some work, in 2015, I did work for certain organizations, and I was like, you know what, this thing of not having a proper, some form of degree or some form of qualification is going to
Mhm.
be problematic. I have to go back. So 2016, I decided I'm going back in
Mhm.
Jan, and they take me back because I wasn't excluded. So they were like, okay, it's okay, go back to school. So then I complete my education in 2017 at UWC
Mm.
because of, yes, so I
Okay.
graduated.
So now, what were you doing during that time? You said you were working, like doing odd job. I think it's odd jobs you mean. What type of jobs were those? Were you working in retail? Were you working in a call center? What were you doing?
I don't like call centers. Just let me put it out there. I was working for a company that was providing 5-star training to hotels. So we were like
Okay.
the part of the CRM team. So if there's any
Okay.
inquiries about the system, we help people, we direct them, okay, this is what you must do. I also did
Mm-hmm.
a bit of facilitation after that job. I did facilitation. And then I also worked as an admin assistant at a recruitment agency.
Okay.
Those were the three jobs that I did, yeah.
Oh, okay. Did you have a bursary?
Yes. I was lucky enough to have a bursary. I got a
Mm-hmm.
call after finishing grade 12. Remember, it's Jan. I don't have plans. UCT has rejected me. Now UWC is saying yes. I don't have funding. So my mother's head is
Mm-hmm.
like pounding. But I get a call from a teacher who says, okay, there's a certain guy who owns a Caltex garage. The guy was in
Mm-hmm.
Guguletu. I'll never forget
Mm-hmm.
his name, Mr. Vuyani Nogaga. He was
Yes.
an owner of a Caltex garage. He said he was going to give out, for instance, he was going to pay for tuition for the first year for like
Mm.
20 students. So we needed to apply.
Okay.
So I went there. hmm I
Mm-hmm.
went
How
there
was your
and I
math?
applied. My maths
Yeah.
was on about 69%. So it wasn't, it was just
Good.
fine.
You know why I'm asking? You know why I'm asking is because most people they think people who do law is because they had maths leads, they're not good in math. So the fact that that's the perception out there. But I was just listening to you. Someone was like at university, they wanted you to do engineering. So it meant you were really like were that you were gifted somehow. But anyway, you want to be humbled.
No, I was a trying student. I was a trying
That
student.
that's that's good. 69 is good, guys. Even 50% for comments, that's really good. Trust me.
Times were hard, eh?
Yeah. So like tell me when you at uni, what type of a student were you? Were you getting like your 60s, your 50s? Or yeah, Jay, what type of a student were you? And were you those type of people who were active in societies, clubs, and like I just wanna know a bit about your uni life.
Okay. My uni life, very boring. I was really working hard. I was very diligent. I won't lie to you.
Mhm.
For the first 3 years, I was in my 80s above. That's where
Okay.
my standard was at. So
Right.
everything just took the turn with me being pregnant and stuff.
Okay.
And yeah, that's when I was like, okay, it doesn't matter, 60s, whatever. I just need to get this done now because of the situation I'm in. But that's the kind of
Okay.
student I was. In terms of extramural activities, I didn't do much. Again, I looked
Mm.
at the distance. Remember, you finish classes around about 4:30.
Mm.
So you have to travel back home. So if I delay and stay at home, I mean, stay at school, at varsity, and do something, it will take out maybe 1 hour or two. So which means I'll have to travel late going home, like imagine 1.5 hour to 2 hours.
Mm.
So I was like,
Mm.
it's not going to work out. So because of that, I was like, it's really not going to work out. I tried, but didn't work out.
And okay, so that's another reason another reason I'm asking this is because since we are moving now to the big question in the Bama articles, most people they say, hey, you need to be active, you need to be active at uni, join the societies, do this and that. So I really want someone who's watching this video, maybe they are a graduate or they're a student, they're still like, or they're thinking of law, So I just want to give them like an overall picture of what happens because some people they will say, hey, if you're not a 65 plus, my chances of getting my articles is going to be really hard for you. So now, by the
Yeah.
time, Yolanda, I didn't ask. I know people who are in law, they know this, but I don't know. And somebody else might not know this. So I might as well ask you, what's the difference between the 4 and the 5 year program?
So with the 4-year program, they will not give you those full-on modules. They'll give you a few of them. For instance, you'll have some family law and law of persons. They'll combine it into one, but they'll not give you everything. So it's not like they're putting you in a mainstream. So they'll give
Okay.
you 5 maybe modules a semester, because when they started talking about the 5-year program at UWC, they said they did it mainly for people that did not get access to the mainstream, so that they could get an opportunity, whatever the case is. So you had that opportunity to go into that, or else if you wanted to opt for the 5-year, then they would have that option open for you. So yeah.
Okay. So is it beneficial to do a 5-year program compared to the 4-year program?
You see, university is very tricky.
Yeah.
The 5-year program, if you do very well, what they do is they take away certain modules. You don't have to repeat them, because remember, they did put them into that 5-year program. So when you're starting the mainstream, they take away some of those, right? And also, I would say it's beneficial, because there were some people who got the shock of their lives when they entered university. They were very intelligent students throughout their high school level, but when they got to university, they thought that intelligence was going to work. Then they got the shock of their lives. So those kinds of students got an opportunity to not be so overwhelmed, unlike the people in the mainstream. So it did help in that instance. So it could help some people.
Okay. So now this is the big debate. I'm sure you've seen this on the socials, on TikTok and stuff. Is it worth it, the LLB, in 2024 or in 2023? If you are just an average child, you are just getting by at home. It's not like you have money. It's not like, what are your thoughts on that debate?
Let me tell you this, Bon. If you're someone who wants to alleviate a certain situation at home as soon as you can, you must just know LLB is not going to be that degree that's going to help you quickly alleviate that situation. Believe you me. It unlike other, I don't know other qualifications, I don't really delve into them, but this one takes a while. Not only because you have to do the degree and then the articles and find a job, but also because it's very difficult to find these articles. And right now, for instance, articles takes 2 years. The amount being paid to the people doing articles is relatively low. So a lot of people can't make a living out of it. So which means that your family has to wait for you anything from 7 to 10 years to put something together. So it's because of that, I don't really say it's a good idea, especially if there's a situation at home you're trying to alleviate. But if you're not in a hurry, I was lucky enough that my family understood. And I was, one of the things that I did was that when things were not going too well, I'd always try to find another job so that I don't stay idle, because that's what I didn't want to happen. I try to find something that aligns with some of my skills so that in the meantime I could be doing something. But for some people, they don't want to be doing that. Plus, it's just, you feel like you're wasting your time. You should be working. I mean, you studied, you have a full degree, but it's not going to be that easy route for you. I'm not going to lie. It's going to take a couple of years.
Okay, thank you for your honesty. And I don't know if you've seen this. Maybe you've also experienced it, but I don't know. You don't look like a person who doesn't do research. But I've found that some students, they didn't even know until they got into the program that actually it's going to be a while. Like people thought, I'm just going to go to uni, do my 4 years, and it's all vibes, So what's going on there? What are you told in your first year? During your first year?
They make it sound very nice. This is the type of degree you should be doing. You're going to be helping people, getting them out of situations. You're going to empower people. So it looks really nice until you get to the application stage. When you get to your 4th year, then you start seeing that, okay, this is not as easy, because you would think that, okay, your marks are going to easily just open certain doors. Remember, there's limited organizations, big organizations that are looking for those 90s, etc. They can't take everyone. Plus, we're competing as the whole of South Africa. So, and
Yes.
there's a lot of LLB students that are competing for those roles. So, unfortunately, it only hits you when you get to that stage that, okay, this thing of
Mm.
articles, okay, it's not going to be as easy as I thought. So,
Mm.
unfortunately, yeah, it's something that you learn with experience. And
Yeah.
if you don't do your research, yeah, you're going to
Yeah.
struggle.
Which brings us to our next question. But before we go there, guys, please like this video. It will help us a lot to reach more people. And also, so far, if we have any questions for Yolanda, please drop them in the comment section. She will be watching this video and responding. Don't worry. My guests, they will always come back to the video and respond to your questions. They're not going to do the interview and disappear. Tell us, Yolanda, how did you secure your articles? And how long did it take from the time? So your degree, if you didn't have the gap, you would have finished it in record time, right?
Definitely, yes.
Okay. So after your degree, where were you averaging? You're still in your 60s, like now in your fifth year.
Yeah, yeah, I was in my
Okay.
60s. Yeah.
How did you secure your articles? We want to know. That's the big question. How did you secure your articles?
Okay, so it wasn't easy securing articles. So when I exited university in
Mhm.
2018, the first position that I got was to be an intern at a public interest organization.
Okay.
Obviously, I was applying during that time, so that internship was about 6 months. And then I had
Okay.
another internship. Instead of getting articles, I got another internship for the following year.
Okay.
That one was going to last for like a year, but
Okay.
I only took 6 months from it because what I did was I applied in that very same organization that had hired me for the internship for articles because I wanted to work in the public interest sector. So I applied
Okay.
there and then I got my articles. So roughly after university, it took me 2 years to secure my articles, which I started in 2020 and then they ended in
Mm.
2021.
Oh, okay. So this is you say it's public interest. That's the name of the it's an NGO basically, right?
Yes, it's an NGO, so it's in the public interest sector.
Oh, okay. I'm very interested in knowing about this because most people, when you are talking about articles, people just think, oh, they're thinking, oh, Harvey Specter, it suits in, that's what they have in their mind, the glass, whatever, windows, so sent in offices and stuff. So you got your internship first. Were you getting paid?
Yes, I was getting paid. Yes, I was getting
How much
paid.
were you getting paid? I will ask you, how much were you getting paid for your internship?
It was about nine. It was about 9,000.
Yeah, guys. Which province was this?
It was in the Western Cape. I was in the Western Cape for all of these positions.
Okay, so you were getting paid for your first internship, you were getting paid 9K, okay,
Mhm.
which is good. And then the second internship,
That one went down. It was 6K. It was 6,000.
okay, but you could see that it's still aligned with what you wanted to do.
Still aligned with what I wanted to do, so I wasn't moving at all. I was going to stay there until I get what I want.
Okay. So what was the difference between the two internships? Sorry, I think I might have missed something. What was the difference between the two? Were they both in the same organization?
So the difference is that this was another separate organization. So they
Okay.
were in the Yeah, so they are in the public interest, but the other organization was mainly focusing on legal education aspects. This one
Okay.
was an all-rounder, so we specialized in different things. So there were two
Oh,
different.
okay. So you got more exposure, more experience.
Exactly,
O-
exactly, exactly.
Okay. So now, how do you get your articles?
Okay, so now I'm in the second position. I'm doing a lot more. I'm obviously getting capacitated here. I apply in that first organization to say I need articles. They've got articles that are opened. And then I go to interviews, I get the job. So I then secure my articles just like that.
Did your marks matter?
Not necessarily. I wouldn't say that was the only determining factor. One of the things that you'll see, Boni, or other people will see, is that marks are not the only determining factor. For instance, if you're
Yeah.
looking at other organizations, that's the only thing that matters. But in some organizations, also your character and what
Yes.
have you been doing, in terms of capacity, how have you built yourself? Those things are also important. Also, people that have masters, sometimes those things do count, especially if you go into the public interest sector, where you've probably ventured into, let's say, a master's degree in human rights. That
Right.
becomes very valuable. Exactly. So those things become valuable, but also you need to make yourself valuable. Especially if you're not getting something, you need to keep active. Do something that can
Right.
contribute to the skills that you have and also build your capacity. Because once you go to
Right.
that interview, it makes it easier for them to see more than what you're just bringing, just the marks that you're getting from university.
Right. We are now like in the real world, because your marks are not going to be working with people on a daily basis. And in this field, I really think your character plays a huge role. But now, of course, the village wants to know, because there's this thing of when you are doing your articles, candidate attorney, you must be taking your 2,500 stipend and just be glad you have a job. So I want to know, how much are you getting paid? You've never
Listen.
sent me. Guys, this lady has never sent me anything. Like, the only thing, she just wanted us to talk about this, just to give you some guidance on how to navigate. But she has never sent me any pay slip, nothing. But the village wants to know, how much are you getting paid for your articles?
Before I share, please,
Yeah.
the village must not go flood and try to find where I was working. It's not right. But I'm just
Right.
one thing I can say is that I was getting about 15 where I
15.
was working.
Okay, so you were getting 15, and this was in 2013.
2020. No,
Sorry,
2020.
2020.
Yeah, 2020 it was above 15. It was roughly 18, just to be specific, roughly 18. And then in the second year, obviously, it went up to above 20. So yeah, that's what I was getting for articles.
Did you have a car?
I didn't have a car. I didn't have Afrikaans again. I just had my English.
Look at her. And she was working. But guys, these are important conversations, like, jokes aside, because especially if you mention Western Cape, instantly, if I'm a graduate or if I'm a student, I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm panicking. They're going to ask me for a car. They're going to ask me for fluency in Afrikaans. You had Afrikaans for sure in your matric certificate, but you were not fluent. We were okay.
I had no Afrikaans in my matric certificate because I went to a black school, so we didn't do Afrikaans. Stopped doing it even in primary school. So I just know it basically because I lived in the Western Cape. Otherwise, I did not do it, Shem.
Wow. Wow. Which school did you go to? Pela, your
I
school
went
must be
to
proud.
I went to Langa High School. That's the high school that I went to.
Really? Is that in Langa Township?
It's in Langa Township, one of the oldest schools in Langa, one of the first schools, actually.
How was it? Look at me now. I'm taking you back.
Phenomenal. I will not lie. That school built my character. The teachers were not just concerned about academics. There was a lot of extramural activities there that helped build, my character. I will not lie. Things like your debating teams, peer education. There was a lot that I was doing there. I won't lie. So that's one thing I appreciate about that school, is that it actually built my character. The teachers were awesome at the time. We were not beaten at that time. It was very nice. So they really nurtured us as students.
Wow.
So I turned out to be who I am because of them.
Hello, Langa High School. Any teacher, specific, like a specific teacher that you would like to give a shout out to?
Definitely Mr. Volof. His name is Dan Volofo. He was actually the teacher that called me after high school to say, listen, what's your situation? There's a bursary being given out here. Run there as soon as possible. So that teacher, I will never forget. Very nurturing, full of guidance. He loved kids. So really, really shout out to him. He's done a great job.
Wow, this is really, again, guys, this is what, I don't know, it just makes me happy, because sometimes we tend to think certain things only happen for people who went to certain schools, you know. So I'm sure you are encouraged wherever you are, where you are watching this. Please don't forget to like this video and share it with someone who might need it. Wow. Siyabonga Elanga High School, especially to Mr. Volofo. Did you say Volofo?
Volofo.
Oh, Mr. Volofo.
Yeah.
Wow, siyabonga for his hard work. So I saw here someone sent me a salary of a candidate attorney. They were earning 33,000, but they're working for a big firm, for one of the 5 like big firms, you know. What do you think?
Yeah, the big 5, they do offer such salaries, so it's expected. Also, you just need to understand what that comes with. You have to obviously work hard, just like there's a lot you need to put in there, because obviously they're paying you a lot of money, but it's great exposure being in the big 5.
Right.
But don't let that discourage you. If you cannot find employment in the big 5, remember, it's just the big 5. There's a lot more other organizations, right? So don't be discouraged if you don't get access to the big 5. There's also other sectors that you can look into.
How can graduates positions themselves in this cutthroat industry? Like you've just explained, would say it's not gonna be that easy, but now if you be strategic and position yourself. So what can you say to them?
Your marks are not the only thing that's going to do it for you. Don't solely rely on that you are a good student and that's what you sell when you get to these interviews. They also need to see a bit of your character, where your passion lies. Why do you want to work with them? So always try to position yourself. Don't be those people who are saying to an employer when they get to a meeting or to an interview, no, I just need articles. Don't be like that. Be very passionate about what you're wanting to venture into, and know the sector you're applying to, because that's also another thing. People are just applying anywhere and anyhow. When they get there, they're like, what's this? Know exactly what you're applying to and why it is that you would want to work there. Plus, when you get to an interview, just like any other general interview, you always try to sell yourself in a sense that you're going to be valuable. You're not only going to be valuable because of the fact that you were good academically, but also you've got this character, you're compassionate, you've got passion, you've got this capacity you've been building. So you need to say more or show more than what you attained at university, because now this is the real world. You're meeting a lot of people with a variety also of marks. There's people that are better than you. So you're going there to position yourself using your character and other aspects, personally that you possess.
But now someone will say, how do I even get that opportunity to present myself? What should I include? This is why I was asking you about the extracurricular activities as well, because some people, they don't even get that opportunity to sit with someone and sell themselves. So what are the things they must look out for, and or my mistake to avoid my CV up?
Okay. First things first, the CV itself, it has to be updated. Try to use a simpler way or simple CV, which is the current CV. And when you're drafting a CV, don't be those people who are just saying, married, what. No, we're out of that system now.
Yeah.
It has to show character, because that's the first, they first meet you on paper before they meet you in person. And also another thing is, don't stay idle. If you, for instance, could not do extramural activities in varsity, it's okay. But during this 6 months or this year that you're looking for articles, what have you been doing? You've got to also think about that. You cannot be staying at home and being idle and not even, growing or increasing your capacity. So you need to keep yourself a bit busy. If you've got a skill, I remember before my internship started in 2018, for the first 3 months, I was employed at another recruitment agency because I had, computer skills. So I was there for those 3 months. So things like that also count to show that you're not one of those people that just fold arms and sit back when things don't work out. You find alternatives. Once they see that your character is built in a certain way, you become much more attractive. So those, yeah.
What type of law do you specialize in your firm?
So in our firm, we specialize in administering of trusts, setting up trusts, your wills, your estate planning, your business contracts, your business advisory services. So that's mainly what we focus on, and also marriage contracts. So that's our part of the work, and also property advice, etc.
And what made you straight from your articles, you just established yourself as an entrepreneur. You just went straight to self-employment. Why?
Listen, I've always had a desire to run a business, an entity, and I've always been a hustler since I was young. I've always sold something, done something around business. So one of the things that I started thinking about after articles, I needed to find a job, right? So when the job wasn't coming the first 2 months, I was like, it's not like me to remain idle. I went to another friend of mine who was also in Cape Town, who had a firm, to say, you know what, show me the ropes. Maybe this is the time for me to be doing this. They literally showed me the ropes, and I was like, this is the time. This is now. I'm ready to set it up. I set the law firm up, and I moved it to Johannesburg. So
why did you move to Joburg?
So one thing I noted was that people compared to, like, the Joburg people compared to Cape Town people, different people. And Joburg people are very active. They are go-getters. If there's a way in which they can save, or if there's a way they can prepare, plan, whatever the case is, they are going for that. Whereas when it comes to Cape Town people, they take a bit of time to make decisions sometimes. So I'm like, let me just approach the folks in Johannesburg. Let's see. Gauteng is big. It's got a variety of people, and they seem like they're very receptive. Plus, with the help of TikTok, I really was asserted that I need to go to Johannesburg.
Right. So now, who was your first client, like paying client? Like, you don't need to mention the name of the company, but we can just say who it was.
So my first paying client was in Cape Town, very beautiful lady. I first did administration for her. So that was my first paying client. So she paid, first one was like 20,000, man. She trusted me.
What were you administrating there?
I was administrating their estate. She had just recently lost her husband. No, she's not a rich person. She's your average person. She's really not rich. Yes.
Okay. You get paid nicely there, 20,000, and then you're like, wow, I'm going to, like, I'm liking this.
Definitely, it did give me some form of motivation that, okay, this really asserts that I should be doing this. So I literally started working from that. And then, then the rest is history. We're here today.
So when did you move to Joburg?
I moved the firm to Randburg in September of 2022. So I've been
Okay.
here since then, since 2022. So yeah,
And it's been
it's been
going
going
well.
well. It's not without challenges because remember, yes,
Right.
it's. I mean, you could say I'm in a lion's den here, and there's a lot of people, but also there's a lot of other people that are offering, a similar service, etc. And plus you're new, no one knows you here, so but it's been going well.
But everyone is new. But everyone is new in Joburg.
Yeah,
But just name like one challenge that you faced, like that you face as a young, I'll just say like a young woman in this space.
no, just to name one challenge. First one, I think the most challenge is the fact that I ventured into something that a lot of people are not really familiar with. When you're talking about will, when you talk about trust,
Okay.
it's very foreign to a lot of people, as much as even professionals. This is something very foreign, and they've always had the idea that these things are meant for rich people. It's not our things. But now, as you start educating them, because that's the
Right.
thing that I had to now start doing, is to educate people so that they do understand that this is actually something that affects the rest of us. It's not something that's meant for only rich people. In actual fact, rich people should be the ones that are comfortable, but it's our thing. So getting people to understand that, getting people to buy into that, that's been the biggest challenge. But I see that as people are learning, it's becoming
Okay.
better and better.
Okay. I'm gonna leave my details Yolanda, guys, on my social media platforms. Okay. You are on TikTok, you are quite active on TikTok, and you are active here on YouTube as well. So go visit her YouTube channel, guys, and subscribe. I know you'll find value. Subscribe, and yeah, but if you have any questions, just drop them here. Don't go and email her privately. You know why, guys? You know why I say that? It's because when you post a question here, it will benefit other people as well. And then Yolanda can just come and respond to that question. So it can like benefit other people. Maybe someone, you ask something that someone didn't think of, and now they see your question, they were like, oh, okay, So Yolanda, I think we've come to the end of this video. I'm not gonna ask if you offer internships because you are still new, unless you do, I don't know. Tell us about that. And if you don't, where can we look? If we are looking for articles, where can we look?
With our firm, currently, we're not looking to add any more people because obviously I'm still the main executive of the organization. If we hire someone such as, an intern, you'd have to get someone to look after them, just guide them, etc. So that's the capacity we don't have currently. But people can apply to different sectors. Depends on what they want. Guys, banking sector, if you're not someone who wants to be admitted, you don't want to go to the attorney route, look into the banking sector. They're looking for legal advisors. You'll start as an intern, and where if you're lucky, and most of the time people are, they will get you the role of a legal advisor. The insurance sector, guys. So if you're someone who doesn't want to get admitted, that's also another, avenue that you could, pursue. A lot of people don't really consider this.
Okay.
Thirdly, the public interest sector. The public interest sector, most organizations, you'll find them on, for instance, Twitter. Just make sure you follow these organizations. Do your research. What would you like to venture into? Because there's a lot of public interest organizations. And so there's a lot that can be done. And then obviously there's your other legal aid, what's this one? There's different ones within also in the government sector. So it depends on what you want. But if you're someone who doesn't want to get admitted, you're not forced to go into that route. There's so many opportunities for people who have an LLB.
Right. Okay. So, so there is opportunities for people who don't really want to become attorneys, because I think everyone, maybe they come with that mindset that, oh, I have to be admitted, I have to be an attorney. But Yolanda, for someone maybe who doesn't clearly understand public interest, can you make an example? Maybe give us 2 examples of public
there's
interest.
A public interest organization called SERI. I forgot the full name. but they assist, for instance, people who, so the public interest sector mainly assists people who do not have money. So they provide legal assistance to those indigent people. So SERI, for instance, provides assistance to people when it comes to land issues, some family-related matters, etc. You also have the Equal Education Law Center, which primarily focuses on education law, anything with regards to education law. That's what you'll do. And one thing, guys, that you must understand is that the public interest sector, it's very interesting because you deal with a lot of high court matters, matters that actually shift the law. Majority of the laws that you'll see and the shift and the changes, those organizations are often involved in shifting the law. Also, the Women's Legal Center, also in Cape Town. You can also knock at their door. Also follow them on Twitter. Like I said, they normally post an update when they have positions that are available. Very interesting sector to actually venture into.
Okay, so in terms of us, because we are young people, Pela, we must be on Twitter. Use Twitter for that. And then LinkedIn. What are your thoughts on LinkedIn?
Visible.
What are your thoughts on LinkedIn?
Visible. Your profile needs to be clear on LinkedIn, because the first thing that happens when they want to, even prior to interviewing you, you've got to have your LinkedIn profile just listed. If you have a link, for instance, in your digital CV, because they would want to access that. So you need for it to be updated. If there's anything positive happening that you can put out there, put it in there, because it's also going to count, right? LinkedIn, very important. I will not lie.
Okay. Yo, I think I've taken so much of your time today, but Yolanda, thank you so much. Last words, please. Last words for us. What can you say to the village people who love law?
The villagers, be very open-minded. Law is very vast. It requires you to have an open mind. You don't find a job in this sector, maybe look into something different. Don't stay idle. Don't be so depressed. I know this is a very difficult journey. I've been there, but you've got to remain active. That's what's going to help you win here. So just keep your options open, always.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Yolanda. Okay, guys, we've come to the end with our chat from Yolanda Miengeza from Miengeza Attorneys. Okay, if you have any question, you can just drop it in the comment section below and she will come back and respond to all your questions. Otherwise, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.